For 40 days, one voice changed an entire nation. Every morning, an army of trained warriors lined up for battle, and every morning they ran away. Because across the valley stood a man so large, so terrifying, that no one dared to face him. His name was Goliath. He stepped out each day in shining bronze armor, the ground shaking under his feet, his spear massive like a weapon no man should carry. Then he would shout across the valley,
"Send me a man, if he is able to fight me."
over Israel's camp. Not because they didn't hear him, but because no one had an answer. Day after day, the same scene repeated itself. Goliath would come forward. He would mock them. He would insult them. He would challenge their God, and no one moved. Not King Saul, not the strongest soldiers, no one, because fear had already taken their courage. And slowly, Israel stopped thinking about victory and only thought about survival. They waited for the giant to stop talking, but he never stopped. And fear never gets weaker when you ignore it. It only grows louder. Then one day, David arrived. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't trained for war. He was just a shepherd boy sent to bring food to his brothers. But when he reached the camp, he saw something strange. An entire army hiding and one man shouting at them every day. And David listened to the insults. He listened to the mockery, and something inside him burned. Because while everyone else saw a giant, David saw someone defiling the living God. He began asking questions.
Who is this man that defies the army of the living God?
You are just a boy. You don't understand war. You can't do anything. Even King Saul called for him and said he was too young, too small, too inexperienced. But David remembered something they had all forgotten. A lion has once come for his sheep, and God gave him victory. A bear had once attacked his flock, and God gave him strength. So David said, if God saved me then, he can save me now. So I tried to give him armor, heavy armor, royal armor, protection made for soldier. But David couldn't even walk in it. So he took it off because what God was preparing him for didn't require someone else's strength. And then he walked towards the valley, step by step, closer to the giant. The soldiers watched him in disbelief, some in fear, some in confusion, because no one understood why a boy was doing what an army refused to do. Then Goliath saw him and he laughed. When he saw David, he insulted him. Am I a dog that you come to me with a stone? The valley echoed with mockery, but David didn't stop. He didn't argue. He didn't retreat. He just kept walking. Then he stopped, reached into his bag, took out some smooth stone, put it in his sling, and ran forward, not away from the giant, but towards him. One swing, one release, the stone flew through the air, and in a single moment, everything changed. The giant stopped laughing. The giant stopped shouting. The giant fell. The ground went silent. Then everything erupted because fear had finally been broken. The army that once hid now rose. Now, not because they suddenly became stronger, but because they finally believed again. David didn't win because he was stronger. He won because he trusted the one who was. And that is the lesson in the story. Everyone faces giants, fear, doubt, failure, problems that look impossible. But what looks too big for you is never too big for God, because giants don't fall by strength, they fall by faith. And sometimes one small stone is enough to change everything.